Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Rutherford, the town planner. We will start with roll call of the Farmington Historic District Commission. Joanne Lawson.
Present.
James Calciano.
Here.
Michelle Fallon.
Present.
Jay Bombara.
Present.
I will note regular member Cliff Mix is absent today. Liz Gemsky.
Here.
Ted Sanford.
Here.
And I will note that John Renahan, alternate member, is absent today. Mr. Chair, it's all yours.
So it sounds like we have an absent regular member, so I will appoint Liz to act in their place.
Sure.
Our first item on the agenda before Jim reads it is the applicant is delayed and will be here probably shortly. So unless there are objections, we'll move to the next matter on the agenda.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, and there's the third applicant. Okay, so Jim, do you want to read the public notice? Actually, I guess, did we read all the public notices at once?
You could just read them all in at the same time. That would be fine.
Yeah, you can start with them.
Notice is hereby given that the Farmington Historic District Commission will hold a hybrid in-person public hearing on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023 at 5 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers on the following applications. Number one, Amy Stokes' application for a temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace front door at 14 High Street. Item two, DH Family Real Estate Trust application for a temporary certificate of appropriateness to install a handicap ramp for Unit 106 at 792 Farmington Avenue. Item number three, Elizabeth and Stephen Kendrick application for a temporary certificate of appropriateness for one-story addition to 2 Mountain Spring Road.
Okay. As I just said, to be clear, Amy Stokes will be here hopefully shortly, but we'll go directly to item 2, which is the DH Family Estate Trust application for 792 Farmington Avenue. I understand the applicant is with us via Zoom. If you could state your name and address for the record, and then give us a overview of what you are seeking for a temporary certificate of appropriateness for.
Sure. Good afternoon or early evening. I'm Colleen Murphy, and I reside at 102 Bridgewater Drive in Avon. I am the spouse of the applicant, Philip DeFranzo, and I also have with me my son, David DeFranzo, who is here to take a look at how local government works, and he has an interest in the application as well. So this application filed by our family trust is for that Unit 106, and it is a newly renovated unit. It's beautiful inside now, and the aim is to move my sister, who is currently disabled, into that unit. So we require the installation of a handicapped accessible ramp, and we looked at many options in terms of what would best fit in with the area, with the historic nature of the building, and came up with an architectural drawing done by Rodolfo Garcia. I'm not sure if he is on here. He indicated that he would try to be here to answer any questions you might have about the material. In any event, I think I think what you're looking at is a comparable type ramp that is, I believe, located in Avon, which we think looks pretty nice, and this would be much like that. The idea would be to have that ramp there during the duration of my sister's stay, which we anticipate may be for quite a while, and that we would remove it in the event that she moved out and somebody who did not require that kind of access to that unit were to move in. And so that essentially is what we are seeking. Happy to answer any questions you might have and go from there. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll start with the questions from the commission. Ted, you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm wondering
I know you're putting the ADA railings on, but what railing are you going to use as a primary rail? So the ADA is the 1.5-inch piping that goes along the railing.
Right. I think, I'm not sure, is Mr. Garcia on? I think he had a note that one of the ramps would need to be widened from his original drawing.
Hi, Colleen. I am on. Happy to answer whatever questions might come up, in this process. But I'm not sure. Is there a question on right now regarding the rail? What? Just to clarify, what I had sent along here, Colleen, was this actually resides right behind our office here in Simsbury on Hop Meadow. Recently installed ADA ramp, against construction of sort of a similar character, if you will. And anyway, I had sent this along to Phil as an example of what could conceivably happen there. This is a kit of parts. You folks might be familiar with Trex, as a brand name of composite decking, which is what these surfaces and treads are on this ramp. And the railing is an all aluminum construction. But again, I sent it along as an example of something that might be fitting to the, to the application here.
So my question is the primary rail, which is the balusters and the top and bottom rails and the posts. Which line is it of Trex's? They have a number of different series, some better than others, and I think some look more appropriate than others.
Yeah, agreed. And to be perfectly honest, we have not investigated it, investigated this design any further than quite simply the layout that's in front of you, which we discovered after the fact. And I apologize for that, Colleen, that by code, the change of direction, these 90-degree bends require a 5-foot by 5-foot landing. So it would be slightly longer, the entire ramp system, but we have not determined what, if for that matter, I can't tell you, looking at this photograph, what that system is, but we can certainly provide you with that.
Yeah, so this is Jay, the Bombara, the chair.
I'm going to ask the commission members, you're going to want to try to speak as closely into the microphone as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for them to pick you up on Zoom, and it's going to be difficult for the recording. Please. Thank you.
This is Jay Bombara, the chair. Yeah, I think what Ted's identified, and I sort of noticed that too, is, well, I've heard something else as well, but first, there's no detail on what you're actually going to build. Really, it's just showing, as you said, kind of the location, and now we're hearing as well that it's actually going to be bigger than the drawing that you provided. What I would suggest, I mean, I look at my commissioners as well, is that you actually do get this drawn and give us the materials as well as the look of the as it will look. And I will say that you will be able to see it from the sidewalk because it does jut out from the building. But I think it's probably preferable if we continue this to the next meeting while you are able to provide the drawings which show exactly what it is that you're doing and what it will look like once it's built. The style, the size of the balusters, the posts, all of that.
Of course, right.
I mean, I don't, I can't speak for everybody. I don't think there's any objection to the ramp being built, and we recognize the need for it. We certainly aren't. I don't think anybody's concerned about that. It's just making sure that it's compatible or appropriate with the rest of the building as well as the neighborhood. So if you could do that, that would be great.
Yeah, and we certainly will do that. And Colleen, I'll provide Phil with those materials, just as soon as we can, so that you have that to present to the commission the next time around. Just in general, you had just displayed a photograph there. I'm assuming that that something along these lines, whatever that as you say, system name and model is, that would be deemed appropriate, say versus cable rail or something along those lines. I'm not sure if there's any reaction to what you're seeing here in terms of an image.
Yeah, I can certainly poll everybody and see if anybody wants to comment on what they're looking at. But before I do that, I just wanted, Ted, you had something else.
Yeah, I was going to encourage you to look at the composite railing system that they make, which I think looks more like wood than the aluminum line does.
Okay. Yeah, the only concern I had, well, I shouldn't even say it out loud, but one of these photographs might reveal that this aluminum system, while it's it's rigid, I took a walk up and down this thing as an architect. You kind of start to touch and feel things. It's a fairly robust system, and yet, maybe because it's aluminum, the members are fairly slender, and low key, I guess. But it is a kit of parts, and I did note that there were a number of instances where little trim pieces had fallen off or been kicked off, especially these little plinths at the bottom of the posts that you see. So I will look into that composite system in lieu of this.
Okay, I'll just quickly go around the commission to see if anybody wants to comment on the photo we're showing that shows a potential style, and if anybody might have an objection or not. I don't, but Liz.
The only thing that I would say is that when you come back next month, I would just have specifics in terms of material type, dimensions, so on and so forth, because we are specific in what we approve.
Absolutely.
Jim, do you have any comments?
I agree with both Liz and Ted. Materials. I see that you will be cutting the curb so that you come flush. The ramp is going to be a little longer, isn't it? Because of those I'm not sure how it works. Every turn you have to have a platform, I believe. And
That's correct. That's correct, and it needs to be 5 feet in
Okay.
both directions. So
Right.
so again, this would extend, and I should also state that we have no A2 survey, indicating exactly what heights we're needing to hit here. These were purely developed from field measure, and do need to be kind of rechecked, if you will, confirmed, so that we're not proposing something that ends up being too steep, or and you're limited to 1 on 12 anyway.
Right. Yeah. The requirements building wise, you're exactly correct on that. So I think that to see the kinds of materials that you could choose from, be it aluminum, be it some form of composite railings, that will give us a great idea. Looks like it's pretty easy to put that in that location, so shouldn't be a real problem. There's no way to easily design these things. They are what they are, and they're needed. And so just a little more information, I think, on our end.
And we'll get a little more specific. I should point out, while you have this photograph up on the screen, that the landing up at the door obviously will need to be modified to make it flush with the door sill, and also create a larger landing pad, if you will, out there. So this portico, as you see it, will actually need to be extended by, I think it's about 18 inches or so, toward the parking, toward the curb. in order to provide adequate landing down there. Right now, you would not be able to make the turn into the door.
Yeah, again, just encourage you to give those, we're gonna need the details, so if you get it on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Joanne, did you have something?
Yeah, actually, I did have a question about the columns on the entryway. I noticed they do have to be moved out. Will you be reusing those same columns?
That would certainly be ideal. I can't speak for the condition or the age of those columns, or for that matter, the originality. You know, I would imagine this was a doorway and portico that was added on, at some point in the history of the structure, but is not original to the building. So I think they're lovely. I think we would, if they were new, they would be replicated probably with the same little, base trim and the capital trim.
And one other question, because this is a condo, I don't know if you can see the same picture that I'm looking at the entryway that you will be changing. And then to the left of it, there's a big window. Is that the same apartment or is that another apartment? So, because you're going to be really affecting the view of that window with the railings.
Right. It is another apartment.
So I wonder, I mean, I don't think this is a design thing, but do you have to get their permission? I just wonder how that all works.
I can't speak to that, Colleen. I'm not sure the answer.
I guess, that's probably not our purview, but certainly it's probably a good idea. You might want to check with the association to make sure you're all set on whatever you're going to do here. Michelle, did you have any questions or comments for the applicant or their architect?
No, I think the other members really kind of addressed quite everything I had questions on, or mostly everything. And certainly the addition of the visuals to help us really kind of understand what those changes will be in totality. So the portico and everything inclusive really would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, with that, can we get a motion to continue this matter to the next regularly scheduled meeting?
Can we check just on,
Oh.
it is a public hearing, so check for public comment. I don't,
Thank you.
But-
Nope, yep, thank you for keeping.
it's a
that.
formality, I believe, this
No, go ahead.
afternoon, but
It should be.
if anyone has called in to offer public comment regarding the application at 792 Farmington Avenue, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom, or please step to the podium to offer comment. And you'll be acknowledged by the commission to provide your comments. Okay, again, if anyone's called in to offer comment on this application at 792, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. Okay, Mr. Chair, there are no hands raised, and clearly no one stepped to the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, do I have a motion to continue this matter to the next? Well, actually, before I do that, just want to make sure the applicant, you'll be ready in 30 days to come back? I mean, I suppose.
Oh, yes, we will.
Okay, so may I get a motion that to continue this matter until the next regularly scheduled meeting?
So moved, sorry.
Second.
A motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we will hopefully see you guys again in a month. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, we did move the first matter to the end now, so we will take up the next matter would be Elizabeth and Stephen Kendrick. Their application for a one-story addition to their home located at 2 Mountain Spring Road. If one of you or both of you would like to come up to the podium and give a brief description of what it is that you're looking to do.
Yes,
Well, you have a representative. I'm
their
sorry.
architect is online, Mr.
Oh, is this Hans? All right, so Hans, I understand you're on the phone. Hans, would you like to make a brief presentation of what it is that the Kendricks will be doing?
Sure. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm Hans Winkle from Don Hammerberg Architects, residing at 772 Farmington Avenue in Farmington. So we are proposing to build a 320 square foot, one-story addition on the southerly side of the house, consisting of a bedroom and a full bathroom, which they intend to use for visiting family and possibly down the road in case they should ever have, mobility issues and need first floor accommodations. The addition, which essentially faces Farmington Ave, will be built off what I presume to be the first addition to the original salt box house, which was built in 1686. I would guess there have been maybe 3, if not 4 additions to the house over the years. The location of the addition was chosen so that we could easily tie into the existing plumbing for the new bathroom, as we'll be able to utilize that of the existing half bath, which we are removing and incorporating into the bedroom. The addition itself was kept very simple in form with a basic shed roof, as we didn't want to detract from the original salt box structure with a more prominent style of roof. The 2 sides of the addition that face Farmington Ave, aside from a bathroom window, are solid walls, as they want as much sound control on those sides as possible. As you know, Route 4 can be awfully noisy, even with their 6-foot fence that runs along Route 4. The exterior finishes will match that of the existing house with the painted wood clapboards, flat stock window and corner trim, matching rake and eave trim, and architectural asphalt shingles. The windows will be a clad wood window with simulated divided lights and a matching colonial grid pattern. I think that's what covers everything. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you. Joanne?
I actually don't have any questions or comments because the house has been altered so much. I'm just glad that the side that faces Mountain Spring is still the way it used to be.
Right.
Jim?
Yes, Hans, the windows, there'll be any, not on the side that we're seeing. Yeah, there's nothing. Are there any windows on the elevations? I don't.
Yeah, right. So where you're that little square window, so that's
Yes.
in the bathroom, and that will be visible from Farmington Ave.
That will.
The other 2 windows are, I think, completely blocked from Farmington Ave. If you look on the site plan, you can kind of see that side isn't visible. But we'll still do simulate divided lights to match the existing windows. The existing windows on the main house have storm windows over them, so we obviously won't have those or need those. But
And the trim on the, so you're saying full divided?
yeah, we'll do simulated divided lights, same color white. The trim will match the existing window trim, which is just 1x4 flat stock. So we'll match all of that, same color.
And the mullions, they're going to be sticking out from the glass, not.
Yeah. There'll be a exterior applied with the divider bar within the glass. So it'll have the appearance of a full divided light window.
Right. Good. And clapboards, and the roof is going to be.
The clapboards will be wood to match the existing, painted, 4.5-inch exposure. The roof will be architectural asphalt. So the roof on 1 or 2 of the additions is just 3-tab roof. So I don't know if they're planning on replacing that, but the new roof will be architectural asphalt shingles.
What's the pitch on the roof? It looks pretty like a 3 or.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's a 3 pitch.
Yeah. That's getting pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Just to maintain a 8-foot ceiling, and we'll avoid tying into the existing roof. Kept it pretty shallow.
Right. I think that's all I have. The windows, the roof, the siding, and that's all I have.
Okay.
Liz?
No questions, thank you.
Ted?
The windows will be aluminum clad.
We haven't going as far as picking windows out, but either aluminum clad or maybe, that would be my choice. I don't know if you allow Fiberx clad or a vinyl clad, but if you want a submittal prior to actually installing them, we can submit that if you like.
Yeah, I mean, that's critical, and windows are one of the most important things that we do. So before you buy your windows, I would highly recommend you come and get them approved, and really you can't put them in until you do.
Right. I mean, I would say right now, aluminum clad.
All
But
right.
again, we haven't gone as far as picking.
Yep.
Getting positive nods.
I'm getting consensus. That's going to be okay, which I know we have done in the past. Anything else?
No, that was it.
Michelle, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not. Thank you.
So I just have a couple, and it's just, me brainstorming, looking at this. I mean, what is the size of that bathroom window?
It is, hold on, if you bear with me. I will measure it on my screen. It's approximately, it's about a 2 foot by 2 foot window, which is it. There's an existing window which we're removing from the half bath, which we're removing, which it's about the same size as that. So it matches the window we're removing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is it over the WC? Is that it?
Yeah, it is right.
And-
I'm saying it's right. The window is right. You see where the kind of little vestibule is to the bedroom?
Yes.
It's pretty much right in front of the door, that opening there. That's where the window is now. A little bit more in the corner.
Okay. And how far back from the front facade is the addition?
It is about 24.5 feet
Set back from
from the face of the
is it
house.
that?
Yes.
No, that's good, because I think, as Joanne alluded to, I mean, just you do have that beautiful facade, and you just want to make sure it's back far enough so that you don't look
Right.
at it. It feels like it's this large volume now, or this thing sticking off the side of it. I also
Right.
know there's nice landscaping there, and I'm sure that they'll continue to do that. And it probably actually makes for a nice, little area patio there. So,
Right. That's what I was thinking. Yep.
okay. I don't think I have anything further on that. Again, I would just say that get back with the windows, and we can approve today, the addition, the location, the size of the windows. And, I mean, I guess we can approve the
We can
windows. If
approve
we
it.
say that they're going to be aluminum clad, can we do that? Okay. So we can do that. All right, let's get this
Okay.
done. If obviously you need to change something, then we'll
come
see.
back.
Don't take any chances on that.
Yep.
Okay. Can we get to the public comment, please?
Absolutely. So if anyone has called in to offer comment on the application for 2 Mountain Spring Road, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom, and you'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Again, if anyone is called in to offer comment on 2 Mountain Spring Road, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. Mr. Chair, there are no hands raised. I presume if anyone wanted to offer comment, they'd come to the podium. So I think we're all set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve a certificate of appropriateness in accordance with the application as submitted?
So moved with the addition that the windows will be aluminum clad
Okay, and match existing,
and match
except for the
existing.
bathroom window. Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion on the motion?
I think the motion probably has to say that it's a temporary certificate of appropriateness. I
Right.
think just add that to it.
Yeah.
That we're approving the
Right.
TCA.
Right, that's the standard language. Sandy keeps us honest on that, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing abstentions? Hearing none. Certificates granted. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks, Hans. Okay, now we will go back to agenda public hearing item number 1. Amy Stokes, application for temporary student appropriateness, replace front door at 14 High Street. Amy, if you could identify yourself and give us your address and then give us a presentation on what you're seeking today.
Sure, I am. Sorry, go
Excuse me
ahead.
1 second, Jay, just a reminder, I'm going to recuse myself from the.
And so Ted will not be participating either as voting or as commenting on this.
Okay. I apologize for being late and misjudging how long it was going to take me to get here from Bristol today. So thank you for, just kind of bumping me down the agenda. I do appreciate it. So my main entry door at 14 High Street, I am the owner and reside there. It is made out of wood, which over the years, it's been getting probably 6 to 8 hours of sunlight right over 13 onto the door. The wood is chipping. I don't know if the picture does it justice, but the bottom of the door is rotting. Light comes in through it. The pane is single pane. I think a strong 8-year-old could probably put an elbow through the pane in the glass. So my goal here is really, I need a new front door. And we just need to fix what's going on in the door jamb. I think there's been several locks and security measures put in that door, and it just is kind of a mess. And even with a lot of rain is now coming in through under the door. So we've got to just make sure the footing is right for the drainage, and the door it needs some help. It's air's coming in there. It's just not energy efficient either. So I'm hoping to put in something that is a more sturdy and sustainable material, like a fiberglass that can handle the elements, especially the sun, without getting warped, getting eroded, whatever is going to happen to wood. I'd love to take the door in a more, my printer didn't do justice for the color. I thought maybe I put a sample in the my first submission, but it's more of like a cornflower mixed with this light gray, because the outside of my house is a light gray right now. I want this door not to be this bold statement it currently is as a red. It really jumps off if there's still that picture from the street. We have also changed the brick that was in front of it that maybe at some point went well with that door. We've also made the roof is now charcoal. Again, that is much darker than it'll be in real life. So that's looking at my house right now from the street. That door is red. And I think when there was brick in front, it really made a lot of sense. And the roof even was like a brown, lighter colored roof. And now it's this charcoal. So I want something that's kind of like blue and subtle, and fiberglass. Those are kind of like my main asks. The design of the door, I've always felt this house being, it's unique, obviously, to High Street, very unique. It is one of 2 mid-century modern houses and very close to the street, obviously. It still has a lot of colonial or federal nods to it with the divided window panes. But I was hoping to send the door a little bit into this mid-century, which is the style of the house. So fiberglass, I wanted to do, right now there's 9 windows that kind of are their single pane in the middle. I was hoping to do something vertical. And yeah, on this page here, the one that I've circled is sort of where I was going with it. So, there's a need for it. I've got a design aesthetic in my head for this house, and whether that can happen. That's just my request, is to try to keep moving the house to the century that's indicative of its build, which is or the decade 1949 it was built. I'm keeping the old original 1949 door, trying to find that balance between what I think the house could be and what it needs to be to fit in the district. So I need a new door, and I'm hopeful that we could agree that we could get there with an approval of a door, and then we can discuss the aesthetics of said door per your direction.
Michelle, do you have any questions or comments for Amy?
Yes, and hi, Michelle, in the camera.
Hi. Well, just so I had read that this isn't the original entry door, that I guess this door then was installed at some other point in time. And just curious about that, because there is a kind of what I would, I guess, characterize as a current imbalance, I suppose. But could you, that would just help me to understand, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. I'll do my best. I've owned the house for about 7 years now, and this I believe this addition Might have been in the late
Okay.
90s when they also put the garage on. Then there's an ensuite behind the garage, and it appears when I bought the house that the house stopped. If you went in that red door and turned left, I actually have to step up to get into my kitchen. And I think that area, there used to be some access to get to that basement. So I do think that this door was added an extra when the garage came into play. The original door that you can't see very well because that ash tree is covering it has an old brass knocker on it, like an eagle, you know, it's not going anywhere. That door is cool. It's too bad it's not at some point you came in that house through that door. There's no question. And then, yeah, this door has been here since I moved in. Still unraveling a lot of the philosophy of this house. I'll be honest, there's a lot of quirky stuff going on inside of it that was done. I'll just say not to the best level. So every time something breaks, we're trying to figure out what was the logic behind this. So I think when they built the garage, they were like, nobody wants to turn left. It's easier to come here. That's a mud room. It's where you come in and, you know, you have the laundry there. It's but it's easier to walk through that door because the old door, you need like some muscle to get through that original door. But I don't know much more of the history besides that, Michelle. I'm sorry I don't have more information, but this door is the functioning in and out.
Oh, yeah, so it's all the functionality. No, the door that you selected is certainly kind of a step outside, but to your point, I do agree that it fits the period. I really, you know, in the fiberglass, I can well understand. So outside of really my curiosity, I really don't have any questions at all. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Liz?
I can't really just see the door that,
Oh,
is there a better?
it's hard to see it in print.
Yeah.
But it's got these block windows.
So is that a side light? No.
No, there's no light. It's
Oh.
sort of just a rearranging
You
of
know what I'm saying?
windows.
Like on the door and then the side, I couldn't.
Looks like a little lights in the middle of the door. I can't tell.
No, they're just the windows will just be vertically oriented.
Right, straight down.
Okay,
Straight down.
okay.
Yeah, straight down. There's
Yeah.
no lights emanating. There's no LED. There's no.
There's no like. Okay.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's just.
Okay.
Yep, you'll come up to the door. You'll have the current handle that's there. I like that style a lot. And then instead of the windows being that 9 thing, I'll just go doop, doop, doop. So people can still see me coming to the door. It's a little less exposed.
Yeah.
I can see them, but it's not going to be so like single pane glass. Welcome, look inside. I might or may not be running to the laundry, you know, appropriately dressed. So yeah, I think that when we had this last rain, I stepped out of the kitchen into about 2 inches of water. And some of that is my pitch and some of the bluestone and some gutter. Don't get me started. We'll be back about gutters, but this door is just rotted at the bottom and it's gotten progressively worse and it's just a mess.
I think that was the only question I had. It wasn't clear.
Jim?
Couple of questions. Could we go to the front of the house? A picture?
You want the full?
Yeah, the whole house. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just trying to see where that door is to the right there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
This is the
Um,
door being
so-
replaced to the
Right.
left of the
That
garage.
is covered. There's a roof over that,
Mhm.
porch roof. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing, you don't have to worry about color. You could paint it any
Sure.
color you want,
Oh my God, hot pink.
whatever you want, whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
We can say nothing.
Copy that.
I see the balance you're trying to achieve. That is truly, you know, a colonial door, some Cape Cod, Garrison Colonial. I'm not adverse to that more modern looking door because I think you're right. It is fitting. The only question we have is the fiberglass. We are not fiberglass people. We like wood doors. It sounds like the problem you have there is probably the pitch of the porch. And I think with probably proper working with the threshold, whatever you have to do, because it sounds like it's, I see the rot happening
Mhm.
down there. It sounds like you've got a drainage problem as far as that porch, water or snow must back up to it. creating
Yeah,
that
yeah,
problem?
I have got, it probably starts from above, right? Every water problem tends to start above you, but, so that's a gutter problem.
Because you're covered. It's
Yeah,
protected.
that's a problem that's twofold, the pitch of the ground, the hearth, a couple other things, the gutters. The issue that I just want to readdress with the wood is that the sun is hitting this door for 6 to 8 hours a day. And the pictures don't do it justice, but if you came over with a paint scraper, you could take that whole door off with very little effort. Even the panels at the bottom, you know, like that stuff, there's light coming in through one of them.
Yeah, they shrunk over the years.
They've warped.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to always think of making an investment for sustainability of the house because I want it to last forever. I want to make really high-end choices with this house so that I'm not replacing the door. I don't know, fast forward how many years. I can look into some texture for that door that makes it's fiberglass material, but looks like wood. I'm really, I hear you. I hear you. The wood is like so nice and precious. My big problem is this door is just going to like hit that sun is going to bake the wood, and I'm going to be back here. I don't know when to get a new wood door.
I don't know. I have many doors that are there. If they're well made, this probably is probably a cheap Brasco door, something that was put in a while ago. But I you know, my feeling is it should be wood. I have less trouble with. I don't have any problem with you changing that design to be more in line with the house. I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
That's my only comment I think I have.
Okay. Joanne?
Yeah, same as Jim, I was concerned about the material that the door was constructed of, since we do like wood.
Understood.
And it does seem like if there's an overhang, where is water coming from?
The grade on the, I think,
The
her
floor,
porch.
the grade of the floor of the porch is probably not letting the water run off.
We replaced the bluestone. You approved that whenever we approved that 3 years ago, I'm not sure, but so the gutter runs the entire length of the front of the house, and aesthetically there's no great place for a downspout right in the middle of the house where I probably need it. Like, sorry, there's one right behind me, like right where that reef is probably where I need a downspout. So anyway, so I got, if I have water coming down onto a bad pitch, I'm already halfway in trouble. And then when we put this new door in, we just need to make sure we've got some protection there before I, again, pull up the bluestone and try to recreate better pitch in that.
That's a slab, isn't it?
I am on the slab.
Right there, right. So I bet reflashing, Ted may have something to offer too. Reflashing properly and building up that area so you don't have water. If the water sheds, you because that's covered, as you know, as you know, Joanne said, and so anyway, that's my input.
Okay, I guess, yeah, Amy, it is difficult. I mean, we in fact went through this with another applicant recently. Now, it was a building that wasn't mid-century modern, but we were very clear that they needed a wood door, and it created quite a long process. And we do prefer wood. The materials on your house are wood. You know, if the materials were different and it matched other materials, maybe, but I think I'd have to agree that, you know, we really need a wood door would be appropriate. And I'm just giving my 2 cents because you probably have better and smarter contractors than me, as well as the people that are on this panel. But it just seems there's got to be a way to fix the bottom is rot from water. Sun is sun if it's maintained. I would just think that you know, that desire I understand, but it just seems like most people have wood doors and they can last an awful long time, especially if they're covered. But
Heard.
okay. Ted's recused.
Okay.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment?
I can ask, and just as I was
there
looking at
anybody left?
something else, those
Yeah, I don't know if that door was maintained.
I want to,
Yeah, no, because not many other things are not in the house.
Mr. Chair, I want to say the commission has considered a composite door.
Okay.
I believe the one that you are speaking of for the Farmington Ave project was ultimately a composite.
Well,
I'd have to go back, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm
that
looking
was
at I'm
that
going
was
back through my emails. I
I'm pretty
believe
sure
it
that
was a,
wood.
Yeah, I thought
no,
The last one was a wood door.
I thought it was a composite. So,
The only fiberglass that I recall was the house on Main Street that burned down for the fire, but that didn't have glass in it, and that was the issue, was the lights are put on with plastic plants and it looks like a plastic plant and not.
I thought not so much, again, not necessarily fiberglass, but a composite of some sort, but regardless,
I appreciate that, Shannon.
I was trying to check email to see if I had enough going back in my historic emails, and I'm not going to be able to get enough detail quickly enough. So if anyone is called in to offer comments regarding the application for 14 High Street, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. You'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Again, if anyone's called in to offer comments regarding the 14 High Street application, please raise your hand and you'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Mr. Chair, there are no hands raised.
Okay. Amy, I think, a couple of things we can do here. We can certainly, if you want to proceed with the fiberglass, we can take a vote on it and we'll see where that goes. Or if you're okay with the wood, we could just make the motion with a wood door of the same style. That
I need a new door for more of the safety stuff. So like, I'll deal with the wood. I'll find it. I just want to make sure like it's either going to be wood in high quality or it's not going to be the other thing, right? Like I just want to.
If you find that, a door you think works, you're welcome to come back and you can, like I said, we could even consider the fiberglass door you proposed, but I'm just trying to make this efficient as possible. I'm not saying people might not change their vote. But
There are rot resistant doors, for instance, teak or some other type of
teak
door.
sounds
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm down with the
Okay.
wood. I don't know. I'll go figure out if the windows can be the same and all that. And if I feel like I can't find it match, I'll come back.
you'll come back. Okay. So hearing that, does someone want to make a motion putting in there that it's to approve a wood door with the same basic style?
As the proposal?
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we give a temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace the front door at 14 High Street with a wooden door in the style that was proposed for today.
Second.
Sounds good.
Okay. Is there further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Amy.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Again, sorry I was.
No problem whatsoever. Thanks for coming. Okay, before I forget, why don't we approve the minutes? Hopefully everybody got a chance to read them. I did look at them and they seem fine to me. Someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion, okay, minutes are approved. Anything else to talk about? Shannon?
The only other item is the expansion report. TPZ issued a positive referral at their meeting on September 11th, and it has been submitted to the State Historic Preservation Office. It is on their agenda on October 4th.
Great. Anybody have any questions or comments or they want to bring up? Hearing none?
This is Michelle.
Yeah.
I do, so I wasn't sure if it was appropriate or not for me to speak up, but I got a fiberglass door on my house that was approved. What before the meeting, because that got my attention, the application got my attention in a very, very big way, because I know that there's some there's concerns with the wood doors and certainly with some of the challenges we faced over the past it was a year with the installation of doors. So I did go and read the guidelines, and the guidelines they're a little obtuse. with respect to the materials for the wood. So for example, they're very clear to say, hey, you know, if the framing around the door, or, you know, the doorway itself was of wood and it had, you know, certain ornamentation to it, you know, the expectation is that that needs to remain. But it doesn't really, there's just seems to me to be some wiggle room with respect to the door, what the door needs to be. And I didn't think it appropriate to bring it up during the meeting. I myself tossed a little bit before the meeting as to whether you know, something should be said about the fiberglass or not. And part of the reason why I asked the question I did about the age of the house, 1949, I don't think fiberglass, I don't know, Ted, you would know better, much better than I, if fiberglass was used, you know, for doors back then. But certainly I thought she selected a door very appropriate to the age of the house. And I was a little stuck on the fiberglass. So I just wanted to kind of bring those points up and you know, kind of let, you know, I don't know whether it warrants further discussion, or we should chew on it a little bit more, or we should just, you know, shut the proverbial door with respect to fiberglass or not. You know, I'm not sure. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, what do you say, speak my piece.
Well, I think those are great points, and you certainly could have brought those up, and feel free to anytime. I mean, I guess I'll first say that, you know, this commission, for better or worse, is not bound by precedent. And so we certainly could approve one, or vice versa. If we have approved one, we don't have to approve it in this case. You know, I think it's fair points that, you know, we look at a building every time and look at what it looks like and its materials. You know, we all have our personal view what might look appropriate or not.
I think that those guidelines are made to be nebulous for a good
Yeah,
reason.
those are guidelines too. That's not-
Because
Right.
a stringent look at this said, well, you have to replace that door. We're all in agreement that that was probably not the original door. And therefore we're giving her leeway. We're also giving more leeway and saying, hey, that the good point was that it's not imbalanced. And that was a great choice of words, because I think if you look at that door, it isn't, something's wrong, you know, and I think that's why we like nebulous.
Yes, I agree. I think
You know,
nebulous is good.
And I think not to carte blanche say, you know, never, things like never aluminum siding, I think that stands. Never aluminum replacement windows, that stands. On this other stuff, you know, maybe something will come before us where that's the only choice. And if that's the only choice, so be it.
I think that's well said. Anybody else want to comment on Michelle's comments?
Fiberglass doors with panels, I think look pretty close to the original wood doors. It's when you put the glass in them that they start,
Fall apart
well, not so much fall apart, but
in looks.
it's a plastic, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it looks. It's a plastic frame that holds the glass in, and it's screwed from one side with plastic plugs.
Yeah.
And that, no matter what, it just, it looks like,
It's the texture.
it looks like what it is.
We're back to texture and touch and feel.
Right.
It's going to look different because you're absolutely
So
right about
they
that.
make flush glazed fiberglass and steel doors that I, in my opinion, look much better and more like what a wood door would look like. But I don't believe that that's what she was proposing. The fiberglass door that we approved on Main Street was a panel door, and you drive by that when it's up and painted, you're not going to know the difference. But the other one,
You'll
at
know.
least I would.
And I would too. I've seen them. Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, all good points, and I'm sure we will be discussing doors again before we know it. So with that, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.